Hello, ladies. Thank you for signing up to this free online self love challenge that will run for the next 5 days. So, I'd like to start day one by saying that we might not always know what self love is, but we sure as hell know and recognize what self love isn't. So, for today, I'd like you to think about the many ways you humiliate yourself, you criticize yourself, and you don't love yourself. I would like to ask you who set these standards for your ambitions, for your ideas of how you're supposed to look like, what you're supposed to wear, where you should be by now, how far along, what your age means, what kind of wrinkle-free face should you have by now. Should you have children? Should you be married? Should you not have that many breakups behind yourself? And I'd like to ask, so what is not self-love for you? I know that for me, the opposite of self-love is when I overeat, when I binge eat, and then when I starve myself. When I punish myself with food, with activities, or the lack of the activities that I know bring me joy, and I deny them to myself. When I bully myself in my head, when I am my own worst enemy instead of my friend and counselor. And trust me, I have had series of depressive bouts in the past, panic attacks. When I was in my early 20s, I was prescribed medication for depression and anxiety and insomnia. And while back then it might have saved my life to take these medicines for a certain period of time, but we now know of all the dangerous side effects of pharmaceutical drugs, including medication for depression and anxiety and insomnia. So you might as well go to a shop and buy yourself a jar of Nutella or a big bottle of wine and numb yourself to death. It's very similar to that. But, I wanted to live in denial for a little bit, but I'm proud to say that I'm 36 now and I've been medication free for over 10 years. The counseling I had was pretty much non existent, and the one that I had just re traumatized me further. So it was around then that I found alternative methods like EFT, tapping on meridians, which we will do today, meditation, all kinds of biohacking tricks, including natural supplements, vitamins and minerals, and a special nutritional program, but we will get to that over the coming days. So I could actually fall asleep at night. I could reduce my stress levels naturally, and I could incorporate mindfulness into my daily life. So I would catch myself whenever I would talk to myself like I was a worthless piece of shit. And I'd like to ask you, like, who set these standards for your life? Why do we always slip into self-loathing after a breakup, after somebody rejects us, or we feel abandoned, we feel not pretty, we feel unloved, we feel fat? Why do we tend to forget all about self-love? Excuse me, very hot here, even though I have the fan on. And we forget that we are human beings, and deep inside, we're little children, and all we want to feel is love, and we want to be able to give love. But if your cup is empty, you can't be of service to other people. So it's very, so it's imperative that you work on filling your own cup first. Self-love is not selfish because it is in your best interest and in the interest of other people that you are functioning well, that you are having your wits together, that you are happy, joyful, and ready to serve in a way that feels good to you. So today we will tap on these feelings that don't resemble self-love. And then we might as well find out what self-love is at the end of it. And of course, in the next 4 days, we're going to cultivate that feeling of peace and being proud of ourselves, how far we've come, how we are on the path of healing, how we are on the path of serving, and that there's no one else in control of our thoughts and emotions than ourselves. So we're gonna put you back in charge. So no matter what's happening in your life, it's not going to break you. It's not going to sway you off the path that you're walking on, and your intentions will be very clear. And you will be reminding yourself that you are worthy, you are beautiful inside out, and you are going to shine your light onto the world, onto other people, and keep being yourself no matter what that looks like. Okay, we all bloom at a different pace. Let's say that you are 25 and you feel lost. You feel like the world is not your oyster at the moment, or that you feel so much pressure to achieve something already this young, because you're looking at all these TikTok models and you're looking at these influencers and they're buying houses at that age, or they're getting married, I don't know, having children. And it just doesn't feel aligned, or it feels like you might never achieve these things, or it feels like you're not doing enough. Or you might be 30, 35, and you still feel like there's something missing in your life. Maybe it's the sense of accomplishment, maybe it's a man, maybe it's a child, maybe it's a home, maybe it's a large group of friends. And maybe you are actually 30 years old with a couple of children, and maybe you have a husband, or maybe you're divorced, but you feel like your freedom has been taken away from you. You don't want to get out of bed sometimes, and you feel like the meaning of your life should be your children, but at the same time, it's just so hard to put them first and yourself second. Maybe you are 40 and you still feel like you're a teenager, and at the same time, you're having so much fun. Why should that matter? Why should that matter? So I'd like you to pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Do you give yourself enough credit for the fact that you're a human being in a very dysfunctional society, and that life can be hard sometimes? So let's get to tapping. The way tapping on meridian works is that we would like to bring all the negative stuff inside of ourselves to the surface, so it can be noticed, it can be accepted, and it can be released. And then as we progress doing these rounds of tapping on our meridians that are connected to organs, and these organs, they represent certain emotions, then as we knock them out of our system, we can slowly bring in new affirmations, new resolutions, and program them into our nervous system. So somehow it works. And the meridian lines that we will tap on, they are here, these acupressure points here. So we will tap here first with the main statement that will come to mind. You can repeat after me, or you can add your own things in your head. And then we will tap here, just next to the eyebrow. And then at the other end, next to the eyes, under the eyes. We will tap below the nose, chin, collarbone, and brow line, about here. And the last one will be the top of the head. So that's one round. Usually we need a few. And I'm going to include a special body graph with the points and the emotions they represent, so you can find it below the video. I'm going to start by self-loathing statement. I don't know if you've been that low before, but it can happen and you completely deviate from self-love into self-loathing. So if you've not been there, great. I am so happy for you. So this could be prevention. This could be your prevention. So, guys, this is for your point of reference. So tap along with me and only mumble these statements under your nose. And as we go along, you will learn to create your own statements. Even though I find it hard to love myself, I can still accept and forgive myself now. Even though I find it hard to love myself, I can still accept and forgive myself now. Even though I find it hard to love myself, I can still accept and forgive myself now. It is so hard to put myself first sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel worthy to take care of my well-being first. Why is it that I can love everybody else, yet find it so hard to love myself? Am I not worthy? Who sets the standards for worthiness? It sure wasn't me, and it sure wasn't God. It is not God's truth that I am unworthy of love. Even at times when I feel so unlovable, I know I have to forgive myself. Forgive myself for deviating from love. Love is all there is. But sometimes I don't feel it is there for me. Sometimes I feel abandoned. Sometimes I feel rejected. Sometimes I feel so angry for not being chosen. Why am I not the chosen one? Why the people I care about don't choose me to love? Why is it hard for them to love me the way I am? Is it because they don't love themselves the way they are? Other person's capacity to give love is the same capacity for receiving love. Sometimes it's a tricky dance. The dance of giving and receiving. But I cannot just be giving and giving and giving. I need to fill my own cup first. But then I feel selfish. Just saying that sounds so selfish. Who am I to give myself love? Who am I to take love from the universal vault of infinite love? Sure, love is infinite. There is enough to go around for everybody. I am not taking love from anybody else. So from now on, I am magnetizing towards me all the abundance, all the infinite love of the universe. Somewhere deep down, I trust God loves me. Somewhere deep down, I know that people love me. That there are many people who are dependent on me being well, who care about my well-being. And I need to be one of those people. I need to be concerned about my well-being. I need to love myself. Because if I love myself, everything works better in my life. I function better. I eat better. I sleep better. I take care of myself better. I make better choices. And other people benefit if I am in love with myself. It is not selfish. I'm doing it for myself, for God, for my family and friends, and for those who depend on my well-being. I now forgive myself for all those times I loathed myself. I hated the way I looked, hated the way I dressed, spoke, behaved. It is in the past. It can stay in the past. I am free to move on. I will incorporate mindfulness and other stress reducing techniques so I can help myself feel better. And other people will benefit too. Take a deep inhale into your heart and exhale. Exhale all the stress, all the self-limiting beliefs. It never served you. Never served you. So, beautiful lady, today's lesson was in self-awareness, in mindfulness, in knowing that you are worthy. It is God's truth. Everything that makes you feel yucky inside is a lie. It's not God's truth. So from now on, pay attention to how you talk to yourself. And I can promise that our journey together is only gonna get better from now on. So see you tomorrow.